welcome back to another episode of the Soup Bowl. I am your host, Renee Murdoch, and I am so happy that we are back at it again this week. I'm happy that you are liking, that you're sharing, that you're listening, that you're watching, and most importantly, that we're doing this thing together. Because as you know, that when we get in the Soup Bowl, life gets messy. It's definitely messy when we're leading it. It's definitely messy when we're out here and we just don't know. We're just going along, making the best decisions that we can. And so why not do it together? Why not mess up together? Why not grow together? That's what we're doing. We're growing together, as they say. So, but no, a lot has been going on in this month, in this past week. And what can I say? Hey, we're all for it. We're ready for it. We're just doing this thing called life out here. But today, I want to talk about a particular topic because I was thinking about some things when I was like on the elevator and then had this encounter at work, and I was just kind of like, and then also I read an article and then also listened to someone talk about this topic a little bit in kind of like a quick little reel or whatever. And it's about, right, having in a relationship, what type of relationship, right, that we should have with our supervisors, our bosses, whatever. And things can get a little tricky, a little uncomfortable, right, in those type of areas. But can your boss, I want you to ask yourself, answer it too, can your boss really be your friend? That your supervisor, your leader, can they really be your friend? And some people say, the article that I read, the reel that I listened to, said absolutely not. That friendship with the boss is impossible because the power dynamics just don't mix. They just don't mix. Others would say, why not? Right? We're all humans. If we get along, we get along. Right? It's just that simple, right? Well, it should be just that simple. And then there's those of us who sit right in the middle, who see both sides, right? The benefits of it, and then also the negative side of things. I, myself, today believe it is possible to have a healthy friendship with your boss. And it takes maturity, boundaries, and a whole lot of respect. That's the key. So here's the truth. We spend more time at work, right, than anywhere else. It's natural to form real connections. We should be forming real connections. But those connections need structure, or they can get really messy real quick and real fast. Real quick and real fast. I'm a witness. I am a witness of this very thing. And I'm laughing because I have seen both sides of this, issue, right? That, people limit themselves to making really, really good, genuine connections. So what is this reality of our workplace and our relationships, right? We have to be honest. Relationships shape how we experience our work, right? Have you ever been in an environment where your supervisor is just toxic? Like they have nothing good to say. They're always making issues out of anything. Seems to make your life miserable. And then you're like, it's not the work that's bothering me. It's the person that I just don't want to deal with. I don't want to deal with this person, right? So when you have a supervisor who understands you, who supports you, and treats you fairly, it makes coming to work a lot easier, right? It creates a space where you feel seen, valued, and even inspired. That's the goal, right? That's what most of us thrive off of. And sometimes that relationship evolves into something deeper, right? You talk outside of work, you share life experiences, you're getting each other's number, you're inviting each other to events, and maybe, right, you're hanging out. Your families are getting together to hang out. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, it actually builds trust and teamwork. Because now you're learning this person outside of this so-called structure, place that we as individuals have put into place. And so now you understand them. And you understand why they make the decisions that they make, why they move the way they do, why they're, in that environment. But here's the big thing. Just because it can work doesn't mean it always works. Doesn't mean it always works. There must be a mutual understanding that those blurred lines can lead to confusion, actually jealousy from others, or even unintentional favoritism. Ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one. I know we have experienced seeing that. The unintentional favoritism. And this is why boundaries are not barriers. They're there for protection. They're protecting both sides. Both sides. Like, real quick. So I literally just had a conversation today with an individual that I work with. And we're talking about something, boom, boom, boom. They're telling me about something else. And we're like, boom, boom, boom. And then they said, oh, real quick. So you remember that email? And I said, oh, ho, 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 ho. You're stepping over my boundaries. No work. We're not talking about work. And they were like, Renee, thank you for that. Thank you for putting that boundary in place and reminding me, because this can wait till next week. You're right. It definitely can wait till next week. It definitely can wait till next week. And that was it. Now, I could allow the person to continue on saying what they had to say, whatever. And then I'm on the other end like, I do not want to talk about this right now. Right? So, putting boundaries in place is a form of respect. It's not disrespect, right? So let's talk about the boundaries, right? Because this is where most boss-friend relationships succeed, or they can actually fall apart based upon boundaries and the mutual understanding. Boundaries doesn't mean there's distance. It just means that there's clarity there, right? In my example, right, with my friend. Hey, well, boundaries, you're overstepping the boundaries, right? It's saying that I value our friendship. And our friendship is not based upon whatever it is that's going on at work. But I'm also respecting your position. And I want you to respect my position as well. And as a friend, right, we can laugh. We can share personal experience, wins, and even personal disappointments, and have really good, meaningful conversations without work. But as an employee, right, we still need to recognize that our bosses has a role to lead, to evaluate our work performance, right, and to make tough decisions. Decisions that sometimes are not going to be favorable. Favorable for me, favorable for you, favorable for other people. They're tough decisions. And if that friendship is healthy, you'll understand that making those decisions that had to be made, that is not personal. This is not personal. This is what needs to be done because of A, B, C, D, and E. It has nothing to do with you. And so let's look at some things that we can reflect on in this, right? Can I take feedback from my supervisor without getting defensive? That's number one. Do I expect different treatment because we are friends? You shouldn't. Can I separate personal life when it's necessary? Because even when you're at work, certain conversations you should not be having at work. Some things need to be discussed outside of those environments. And then again, that's when we're talking about the boundaries. So if you have good boundaries, you have good mutual boundaries, then those three questions, or was there four? I don't remember. You'll be able to answer yes to those questions. And if some of those questions are no, then there are not clear boundaries that's put in place. And most times you're thinking that the supervisor should be establishing some type of boundaries first. No, why you can't establish the boundaries? Again, they're there to protect both parties. So don't wait. Put the boundaries in place. Now, let's talk about the other side of this, right, that I have experienced as well. Now, when you don't have the boundaries and the lines are crossed and things get blurred, it really starts off really small, right? These things are happening. It's just something here and there, right? Maybe you're coming in late, or you're allowed to leave early because it was fine, and you're just like, hey, I need to go take care of this, and you're like, oh wow, okay, that was easy. Okay, I'm gonna go again. Oh, so we're gonna go to. Can I leave a little bit early because I need to get dressed? I need to change my clothes, right? Or maybe you're the one that's getting chosen for the big forward-facing projects, not because you're the best, but because of the friendship. Now, when you have been given something over another peer based upon the relationship. Now, we not fools out here. We know. And you know that you're like, oh yeah, well I got it, but yeah, really it's wrong. Really it's wrong. So over time, as these things are happening, tension starts to come into place. Resentment starts to happen. And even your professional reputation is being harmed. Because at this point, people are believing that what you're getting is based upon that friendship. People are whispering, oh, they only got that opportunity or promotion because they're close with the supervisor such and such. Or they're in a relationship. Shouldn't be. And whether it's true or not, that can be damaging to your professional reputation. It's damaging to both parties. So friendship should never put you or the supervisor, your friend, in a position where integrity is being questioned. Because once respect is lost, once the role or the boundaries are crossed, it's really hard to get that back into play. It's really hard. And let's be real. If the friendship ever hits a rough patch that can spill into the workplace, Suddenly the communication changes, our tone shifts, right? And people around you start to feel that tension because something done went down, right? so, so that's why it's important, right, that we establish the boundaries. We establish the boundary. And we have a consistent check, not on the other person, but even on ourselves, right? So in my example, my experience, my encounter that I had today, right, is like, that was a check. That was a check for both of us. Oh, hold up a second. When did it become okay for us to talk about work? Okay, no, we're not doing that. So here's the 3 questions to ask in this. Am I being fair? Right? Am I staying consistent with everyone? So like if you're the supervisor, this is for you, right? Am I respecting the person in their position and not just their personality? Because sometimes, as supervisors, we can, right, begin to connect with people that seem to be responding, right, in the way that we are leading. And then you're not, giving that same energy to those who are not as comfortable to come speak to you, who's not having one-on-ones with you, who are not, doing black backflips and cheering for you and everything that you bring to the team. So you got to ask yourself those things. Are you treating people fairly? Is it morally right? No, it isn't. Right? It isn't morally right to have favoritism, right, in between, individuals. And then ask yourself, would I do this or expect this from a friend that I don't work with? That's really good. You gotta ask yourself that. The answer to these questions really, I think, kind of helps us understand our true motives when it comes to this. It really does. And if your answer that you have provided, because you don't have to tell me, right? Because these are just self checks. These are just checkups, right? So if there was some hesitation in any of those responses, right? That means that there needs to be some boundaries in place and some realignment happening. And real fast, quick, in a hurry. Real fast, quick, in a hurry. It's like a tongue twister, right? So remember, friendship is built on honesty and respect. Mutual respect, right? So you don't need to have, favor and privileges to prove the bond that you and this individual have. A true friend won't put you in a compromising position at all. It's like, hey, I'm about to roll up to the store. They go in the store, they steal something, they come out, and all of a sudden you like, what? People coming out, they calling the police. You like, what? But you the driver, though. You the driver. Like, I literally know someone that the person was like, hey, I'm going to go, make a deposit. But I was like, can you drive me? Whoop, whoop. Okay, sure. I'll drive you. Little did they know that the person was going to rob the bank. Can you believe that? And now I have to answer to this because it looks as though I was the getaway driver. A true friend would not put you in a compromising position. Now, do you think that they were like, oh yeah, no, they didn't know nothing about this? No, they did not. That person did not say that. And so the other person ended up going to jail too and serving time. That's crazy. So when your friendship is rooted in integrity, it can actually enhance the professional relationship instead of hurting it. It can enhance it. That too, I have experienced. So the win-win of having a healthy balance is it's powerful and it does work. Having a supervisor who's also genuine and has good communication, with the communication between you two, it just flows easier, right? Because you can share ideas without being fearful of the what is it, the why I can't say the word. That's crazy. Repercussions of something coming back on you, right? If you say something that they don't like, or or you're just just getting honest about some things, right? You know that there could be some honest feedback for what it is that you're saying. And even just moments of where in a stressful and uncertain times in which we are in right now, how important having a healthy relationship with your boss could be. It just makes it easier to get throughout the day. It truly does. So that kind of connection that builds a culture of trust, right? And it can make the team stronger, lasting longer, right? And helping one another grow personally and professionally, right? So what's the secret? What's the secret sauce? Does anyone know? Has chicken filet laid it out yet? I don't know. So the secret sauce is to keep things transparent. Keep it transparent. Transparency into. See, when others see that your friendships, right, don't interfere with fairness or professionalism, it earns respect and not suspicion. So yes, I believe that your boss, your supervisor, whoever you want to call it, your manager, can also be your friend. You just have to make sure that the friendship that you had is adding value to your work and not taking it away from it. That's the most important thing, that is adding value and not taking away. So at the end of the day, right, every relationship, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's with just, someone in the community, volunteer activities, right, it comes down to three things. That's respect, that's honesty, and also having that balance. Having that balance that's there. If you can maintain those three things, right, then your friendship with your manager, your boss, your supervisor can truly thrive. And you don't have to hide. Oh, got that right. Okay, anyway, but it's whether or not, right, not like if either side really like tries to start to take advantage of one another, and you're doing this unintentionally, like, okay, I'm sitting out, I'm going to do this or whatever. Although some people can be like that, but I know it's not you. I know it's not you, right? But if that does happen, right, this becomes a problem. And then someone has to say, hey, hold up. What are we doing here? We are crossing boundaries, right? So the next time you find yourself wondering, can I really be friends with my boss? Remember, yes, you can. But only if you're both mature enough to do it. Only if you're mature enough to handle the boundaries that comes with it. Because there's things that have to come with this thing. Like, you just can't be like, hey, we're just going to be rolling like this. No, you can't. I've seen too many instances where it is not good for either party. And it usually ends in a bad way. And usually what ends up happening is the person that's not the boss, unless they did something really ratchet, majority of the time it's the employee who ends up getting moved or ends up losing the job. And so we don't want those type of things to happen. So it's important that we respect each and every person that we come in contact with. Not respect just because of their role, but respect as another human being. You know that golden rule? Treat others as you want to be treated. Yes. Yes, treat others as you want to be treated. And be honest. What are we out here lying about? What are we lying about? I have no clue of what we're lying about. I just don't know why we're lying. Tell the truth. Be honest. Be honest about where you are, how you're feeling. Be honest about that. And then be balanced. Setting healthy boundaries. Like my number one boundary is I am not talking to you about any action items or anything, projects, programs, whatever. I'm not talking to you when I am off work. I have left that there. I have left it there at the door. And I will pick it back up when I get back to that door. Those are my boundaries. And that keeps the things for me separate. And then it allows for me to really grow this relationship. It allows for that. So, friendship isn't about privilege. It's about integrity. And true friends, even in the workplace, help you grow. They help you grow. And they ensure that the lines do not get crossed, that the lines are not blurred. That's true friendship. Whether it's in the workplace, whether it's at home, whether it's in your community. That's true friendship. That's true friendship. So hopefully today you have maybe gotten a different perspective when it comes to your boss, because we all have one. No matter where we're sitting at, we all have someone that we have to answer to. And so hopefully your perspective has changed and is giving you some food for thought to say, I possibly can do this. I think it will be better for everyone around that I dive deeper into a healthy, balanced, respectful relationship with my boss. Because it's possible. It's possible. We just got to be mature about it. Because if I can only tell you when I was not mature about it. Yeah, it was ugly. It was ugly. But I've learned and I grow. Right? And I have had wonderful relationships with my boss. I have. To the point where, yes, we have become friends. And so I'm thankful for that. I'm really thankful for that. All right, so that's it for today. Hey, I hope you guys have really just kind of grasped on and gleaned from some things on today. Do know that leading is teachable. And I love you, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And until next time, peace.